NXT was not the best. It was a very middle-of-the-road show. There were a couple of okay things that took place on this show, but for the most part, it really wasn't their best. And with that awful closing segment with the women, I didn't like it. It took me all the way out. It really did. And we are going to get into the predictions for the Great American Bash. And to be honest with you, the Great American Bash this year, with that card that we got, it should really just take place on television. The Great American Bash this year should just be a TV special. I'm not going to hold you guys up at all with that one. I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. It should. So we're going to go ahead and get into NXT. So we kicked the show off with Ricky Saints defeating all the members of the Vanity Project. He defeats Brad Baylor via a satellite DDT. He then defeats Ricky Smokes with a roll-up. And he defeats Jackson Drake via the Rochambeau for the 1-2-3. Ricky wins. And then he gets on the mic and he challenges Ethan Page to a Falls Count Anywhere. So that's fine. And then Saints also says that he's going to dog walk Ethan Page's ass. Pause. So there's that. And again, this match, it does seem like it should just take place on television. Like, even with that stipulation, you can still do that on television. Just being honest. All right, moving on. So basically, Zarya and Saruka, they're backstage. They are being taunted by Lacey Lane and everything, and she's just running her mouth and everything else. Then her and Kalani Jordan, they get into it. They have some words. Kalani Jordan says that Lacey should be more concerned about Thea Hale. And then Lacey then challenges Kalani to show her what she can do. Okay, that's fine there, I guess. Oh, and congratulations to Kalani Jordan. She is now engaged to Carmella Hayes. That's great. So I wish them all the best. That's great. They are a young couple. I think they're both in their 20s, late 20s. I think Carmella is like 27, 28. And I think that Kalani Jordan is probably 25, 26. Maybe the same age as Mello. But, you know, that's cool. So I wish them nothing but the best. Great. Cool. Good stuff there. Moving on. So Jordynne Grace, she's working out. My bad. Moving on. So Jordynne Grace, she's working out. She receives a phone call from Mariah May. Jordynne Grace wants to know where Mariah is, because they're supposed to be training together for their match on Saturday. So then Mariah May, she takes a guess that Grace is at the gym rocking a black sports bra and black leggings. So she's going to send her driver over because they're going to have a glamorous workout. Jordynne Grace says she can't lift the black SUV, which is kind of funny. And then Mariah May tells Jordynne Grace to get in the car. They're going to have an awesome glamour workout. The Great American Bash will have no idea what's coming to them when the Glamour and the Juggernaut join forces. Jordynne Grace says she'll only come if Mariah May stops talking, and then Mariah tells Jordynne Grace she'll see her soon. Okay, that was pretty cool there. Moving on, this leads us into Charlie Dempsey defeating Tavion Heights. So Tavion Heights is still a part of the No Quarter Catch crew because Ren Sinclair basically just threw in the towel. So, you know, there's that. This is a hard-hitting match. It's fine there. I imagine this is still going to continue. I do like this. I really do. Tavion Heights is a star. He's going to kick major ass in due time. And I like him. He definitely is championship material. I can see him being the North American champion one day. I can also see him in maybe a couple of years, him being NXT champion. I'm not going to hold you guys up. He's good. Like, he's really good. So, then Javon Evans and Hank and Tank, they're backstage talking about some stuff. Javon Evans is glad to see that both Hank and Tank are fired up. And then Jasper Troy attacks Javon Evans. And then officials break it up. So, there's that. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on, this leads us into Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. They defeat the High Rise. Post-match, Trick Williams shows up and he lays out Mike Santana and Joe Hendry with the help of the High Rise and Wesley. Match was pretty okay, pretty solid stuff there. I like this. Again, I'm not a fan of triple threat matches. I feel like this should just be a one-on-one match. But it makes sense. I still think that Mike Santana is going to obviously win because they're basically in the hometown of Mike Santana. I'm not sure how far Brooklyn is from Long Island. Maybe about 25, 30 minutes. I don't know. I have to Google it. That's just me guessing off the top of my head. But I would imagine if I were to Google it, I'm probably right. So, again, this is fine. They got another week to build the remainder of the match. So, there's that. Moving on. We then get a video package from the Great Muta, Io Sky, and a couple of other people from Pro Wrestling Noah. Kyoto, I can't pronounce his last name, and Namicha, I can't pronounce his last name either, so they all wish Inamura good luck against Oba. All right, whatever. I don't care. But that was pretty cool to see the Great Muta on, television, on a backstage. In a video package. Cool stuff there. Good shit there. Moving on. Dark State. They bragged about invading TNA last week. Who gives a damn? One of the guys says that they have a close eye on the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Nobody knows when Dark State is going to strike. But when they do, nobody is safe. Again, who cares about this? Because Dark State have done nothing. And just taking out Matt Cardona, it doesn't mean jack shit. So I don't understand why they are, still being pushed as a faction. They've done nothing. They've been around for, 3.5, 4 months, and they've done nothing? No. Moving on. This leads us into Oba Femi and Inamura. So basically, Inamura just comes out, he cuts a promo, says that he's got a bunch of support from his family, friends, the NXT universe, and his good friend Josh Briggs. He said that come the Great American Bash, he's going to fight with honor, and he's going to become the new NXT champion. But Femi tells him that's fine. You can have honor, but you're going to have it because when you lose to me, you're going to have to lose in an honorable way. He says that Inamura is not ready to take the title from him. So Josh Briggs, lame ass, gets involved, and he stands up for Inamura and all that stuff, trying to be the heel. Who cares? And then it ends up with Oba, Briggs, and Inamura having a brawl. I don't give a shit about this. Again, Josh Briggs fucking sucks. He does. He's been in WWE for basically about, I'd say, 5 to 6 years. I think he came in, I want to say in 2019 or early 2020. It doesn't matter. He sucks. Look, I remember watching Josh Briggs on 205 Live back when they ended up, just making it into a NXT level up before that was even a thing. That's what that was in 2020 and 2019. And Josh Briggs has been there ever since. Basically, he's not really improved that much. He was okay in NXT 2.0, and now he just has not improved. So, I don't care about this. I feel bad for Oba. This is something that I hope opens up the show on Saturday. It probably won't, but this is very weak. I feel bad for Oba. Again, Inamura sucks, and so does Josh Briggs. So whatever. Moving on. So Jordynne Grace, she shows up at the location with Mariah May. She doesn't like what she sees. They're basically getting a manicure and a pedicure, and they got their makeup done, and they're just talking. So Jordynne Grace tells Mariah May that this isn't her vibe. This ain't her vibe. Mariah says that self-esteem is something that Grace can also lift if she wants to become the NXT Women's Champion at Evolution. They have to get the title off of JC Jane one way or another. Then Jordynne Grace opens up and admits that she's having fun. First, they'll beat Fatal Influence at the Great American Bash. Then Grace will become the new NXT Women's Champion at Evolution. And then Jordynne then thanks Mariah for inviting her to this glamour workout. So that was pretty cool there. Good stuff there. Jordynne Grace is still not good in the promo department. She's not. I know people thought when WWE brought her in, she should have went to the main roster. No. She needs to be in NXT for a while. At least for the remainder of the year, and maybe for the first 2 or 3 months of next year, and then bring her up on the main roster either during WrestleMania or after it. And I think from there, she should be fine. Moving on. This leads us into Kalani Jordan versus Lainey Reed. So Kalani Jordan gets the win. So post-match, Thea Hale, she comes out, and her and Lainey Reed, they get into a brawl. So there's that. All right, moving on. So Jasper Troy, he once again attacks Javon Evans in the trainer's room. All right, that's fine. Continuing on. So Adriana Rizzo, she shows up, and she wants a sit-down meeting amongst the former D'Angelo family, Tony D, Stax, and Luca Cristofano. So Rizzo says that she wasn't going to be in hiding forever. Rizzo called this a final sit-down. She said that she was in the safe house. She saw all three of them lose focus on everything that the family has ever accomplished in NXT. She said that Tony D and Stax created a legacy. All the good times at the restaurant, taking people to the bridge and the wood shop, the championships, and now Tony and Stax have destroyed it all. Riz told the Don to settle this issue in Las Vegas, but he didn't want to. So Luca asked Rizzo why she thought this meeting was going to bring the family together. She did, but there's no saving this. There's one last piece of family business. So Stax says that he feels undervalued every time he got called the underboss. Luca wasn't unsure if the Don had his best intention. Every time he signed a document, the Don's always going to wonder if someone's going to stab him in the back. Once trust is gone, doubt creeps in, and it doesn't work. So Riz says she had to do what she had to do, and she had a conversation with Ava. It's going to be a triple threat match next week, and it's going to be the final battle. Stack says he feels like he's going to get set up. The Don finds it funny that the Rat feels like he's getting set up. That's typical Rat behavior. As far as Tony D is concerned, Luca is in the same boat as Stax. Stax is the Heritage Cup champion, and he's above the entire family. Stax and Don hate each other. Luca says the only way for him to move forward in NXT is get the hell out. Is get the hell away from Stax and out of the Don's shadow. The Don is done with this conversation. So this is pretty cool. I like this. This is interesting. Who wins? I don't know yet. I really don't know. I would imagine maybe Tony D loses, and then I would essentially imagine he moves up to the higher and on the card, which would be great. I could see Luca going back to Evolve for a while, and I could see Stax just kind of continuing to grow as a character and to grow his family. It sucks that it had to end this way, but we saw this coming a mile away. You know how Triple H loves to break up tag teams and factions and all that, and this was no different. So it is what it is at this point in time. Moving on. So Hank and Tank, they defeat the Culling. I don't care about this. So whatever. Then we get a Chase U vignette. So, there's that. Zarya and Soruka, they got involved in Hank and Tank's match. So that's cool. And then we have the summit, the Evolution Summit, and it was awful, basically. Nothing really happened. So Ava came out, told, that Evolution took place on October 28th, 2018. She said that she was in high school, yada, yada, yada. She said that there's going to be 6 women from NXT that are going to represent NXT in the Battle Royal. That's going to be Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordynne, Lash Legend, Itchy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. So then JC Jane comes out. She runs her mouth. Her and Ava go back and forth for a brief moment. Then everybody else comes out, from Jordynne Grace to Lash Legend. Stephanie Baker shows up, which is great. She got a really good reaction and a good pop. She didn't say much of anything. She said that she knows that Jordynne's going to win. She's going to take the victory. And then she's going to win the Battle Royal to become the new champion. And then from there, Maxine Dupree and Natalya, they came out. And then there was a massive brawl that took place. Jada Parker, she came in from the crowd. She said some stuff. And a massive brawl broke out. And that was it. So whatever. I don't care about this shit. All right. This was pathetic. This was a horrible way to end NXT. It really was. So whatever. Overall, NXT was okay. The closing segment for the women was a disaster and a waste of time. It never really should have occurred, if we're being honest. Let's go ahead and get into the Great American Bash predictions. So, the Great American Bash has 5 matches on the card. It's taking place in Atlanta, in center stage. So, TNA's been there several times. I think it can max out at 1,000. I think they've only sold, 500 something. By the time Saturday rolls around, it should be about 700, maybe 750. But it is what it is. This card just feels like a TV show, if we're being honest. Seriously. So, let's start with Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page for the North American Championship. Balls cut anywhere. Ricky Saints needs to win. It's time for Ethan Page to go to the main roster. He's done everything that he needs to down in NXT. And NXT, in my opinion, should have no more use for Ethan Page. Moving on. Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. The match should be okay. Jasper Troy needs to win this. Javon Evans can lose and be fine. They need to continue to push both guys, but Jasper needs to win this feud. And I wish they would change his name, that being Jasper Troy, but I doubt it's going to happen. Moving on. So Ruka versus Izzy Dame for the women's North American Championship. My bad. So Ruka's going to retain, obviously. Why would she lose? Okay. Moving on. This leads us into the tag team match. Jordynne Grace and Mariah May versus Fatal Influence versus JC Jane and Fallon Henley. Jordynne Grace and Mariah May are going to win. I would imagine they are going to turn Mariah May heel, but that probably won't happen until probably Evolution. So, there's that. And I think after Fatal Influence loses, they need to kind of move them up to the main roster, if we're being honest. I think Jasmine Nix by herself would be fine, but it is time for JC Jane and Fallon Henley to move up. If not, just send them back to TNA for a little bit and then bring them up when you have something for them to do. Main event of the evening, more than likely, afternoon, I should say. Oba Femi versus Inamura for the NXT Championship. Oba Femi's going to win. Who cares about this? Who really cares about this? Again, this entire card just looks like it belongs on television, and it is what it is. Do I think that there'll be some surprises? Probably, but I highly doubt it. Hopefully there are some, but I don't think it'll happen. But what did you guys think of NXT, and what are your predictions for the Great American Bash? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.